Rome is often remembered for civilization, law, and empire. But behind the marble statues and shining armor was a world far more brutal. These are 5 truths about ancient Rome they don't teach in school, and they'll change how you see the empire forever. Crucifixion wasn't just execution, it was a message carved into flesh. First you were stripped, not just of clothes, but dignity. Then flogged until your skin hung in ribbons, nerves exposed, bones visible. That alone could kill. But if you lived, you were nailed to a wooden cross. Arms stretched unnaturally wide, legs bent, the nails placed not in the hands but through the wrists and ankles to hold your body weight in place. And then you were left, to suffocate slowly. Every breath meant pushing against nails and torn flesh. Hours, sometimes days, passed before death came. Birds circled, crowds jeered, and roads were lined with crosses so that no one, slave, rebel or thief, ever forgot who ruled them. Roman citizens were exempt. This was for the others, the outsiders, the ones who didn't matter. Crucifixion was the theatre of fear, and Rome was the director. Which part shocked you most? What kept Roman legions in line? Not loyalty, not pride, but fear. If a unit broke ranks or fled battle, the punishment was brutal: decimation. From the Latin decem, meaning 10, 1 in every 10 soldiers was chosen by lot. The unlucky man, beaten to death by his 9 comrades. No trial, no defense, just fate. Imagine being loyal and still forced to kill your friend, or be killed yourself. It didn't matter who ran or who stood firm, it was about restoring terror, not justice. And it worked. Few empires dared to punish their own like this, but Rome built its armies on cruelty as much as courage. The message was clear: disobey and your own brothers would bury you. Could you survive in a world like that? Tell me in the comments. In ancient Rome, not every baby was welcomed into the world. If a child was sick, born with a deformity, or simply the wrong gender, often female, they weren't raised. They were exposed, placed on hillsides or in alleys, alone, crying, left to die of cold, hunger, or animals. The act wasn't hidden. It was legal, even expected. Fathers held the right to reject newborns, a harsh echo of Roman control over family and fate. Some infants were rescued, not out of mercy but to be sold into slavery. Most never stood a chance. No names, no graves, no mourning. These silent tragedies were part of the Roman world, as real as its emperors and legions. Does this ancient cruelty still echo today? Not every gladiator fought for glory, or even had a fighting chance. While some trained, gained fame, and could win freedom, many others were condemned prisoners, forced into staged deaths. They weren't warriors, they were props. Dressed in costumes to play out ancient myths, they faced unbeatable odds, unarmed, sometimes blindfolded, sometimes bound. Their deaths weren't just expected, they were choreographed. The crowd didn't cheer skill, they cheered blood, they cheered spectacle. This was execution disguised as entertainment. And for the Romans, it worked. These weren't games. They were rituals of dominance, where the state fed its people violence and control. Who were the real barbarians? Let me know in the comments. Roman justice didn't hide its cruelty. It displayed it. In crowded arenas, prisoners were tortured not behind walls, but before roaring audiences. Some were sewn into sacks with snakes or monkeys, then drowned in rivers. Others were burned alive, torn apart by wild beasts, or whipped until they collapsed. Execution wasn't just punishment, it was performance. The more dramatic, the better. The crowds came for bread and blood, and Rome delivered both. These public deaths weren't just about crime, they were about power, about control. They reminded every citizen Rome could make you scream and make the world watch. Which torture shocked you most? Drop a comment, and like and subscribe to uncover the darkest parts of history's most powerful empire. From crucifixions to random executions, Rome ruled through fear and entertained itself with blood. Want more raw stories from the ancient world? Hit subscribe and step deeper into the past.